switches, puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound Bosch. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
Ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good evening, early morning. It is your boy Lewis coming back at you with another heavy hitter banger with yet another video. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, make sure those notifications are turned on. Make sure you guys are sharing this on your social media platforms. Truly appreciate it. Hope everybody is having a wonderful late night Saturday, early morning, and enjoying their Friday now / Saturday. On to the video. What did I just see, man? What did I just see? So the Los Angeles Clippers, after being down by as many as 25 points in the third quarter, 22 in the first half, come back and defeat the Utah Jazz by the score of 131-119 to take the series 4-2 and move on to their first Western Conference Finals in team history. So we have Donovan Mitchell, who led all scorers. Well, he didn't lead all scorers, but he led the Utah Jazz in scoring with 39 points. He had 9 rebounds and 9 assists and played over 40 minutes. I think they had other guys. They had Royce O'Neal and Clarkson with 21 points each. Bogdanovich put in 14. I think Gobert had 12. So Donovan Mitchell got help. But I didn't like the fact that Mike Conley was playing because you could tell he was not right. That was one big mistake that Quinn Snyder made. Now let's look at the Clippers. Paul George, 28 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. He played well, especially in the fourth quarter. Reggie Jackson, double-double, 27 points, 10 assists. But the game ball goes to the man, Terrence Mann. 39 points, 15 of 21 from the field, shoots 71% in a closeout game to help eliminate the Utah Jazz. This is how bad this loss is for the Utah Jazz. They were up 2-0 in the series, and they lost 4 straight to get knocked off in the second round of the playoffs again. Utah is 1-9 when trailing 3-2 in their postseason history. The last time their only series win that they ever trailed 3-2 was against the Tracy McGrady and Yao Ming led Houston Rockets when it was a young Darren Williams and Carlos Boozer, the dynamic duo for the Utah Jazz during that period. Head coached by the late great Jerry Sloan, rest in peace. Here's my issue with this game. Remember what Shannon Sharpe taking a lot of L's, man, because this dude said that the Jazz were going to win in 7, yet they're out in 6. The Utah Jazz hit 21 threes. They were 21 out of 44 from three-point range. So you're saying to yourself, okay, the Jazz will probably win this game, but remember, in Game 5, they hit 20 threes as well. But the problem is they lost. They lost, hitting 23s. And the biggest problem have been their second halves. Ladies and gentlemen, the Clippers outscored the Utah Jazz by 34 points. They outscored them 81-47. Keep this in mind, folks. It was 72-50 at the end of the first half. The Clippers only scored 19 points in the second quarter. 19. The Utah Jazz had 39. They outscored them 39-19. And this is what's so telltale. Jordan Clarkson, the 21 points that he scored in the game, he scored all 21 in the second quarter. It was him and Donovan Mitchell carrying the Utah Jazz in the first half. The Jazz were cooking the Clippers in the paint, and they were getting offensive rebounds with Gobert and a couple of putbacks on their second chance opportunities, right? Terrence Mann was able to keep them in the game, despite the fact that the Clippers trailed by as many as 25. And mind you, it was 75-50 with 11 minutes and 17 seconds left in the third quarter, folks. 75-50. 75-50. The Clippers outscored them 81-44 after trailing by 25 with 11 minutes and 17 seconds left in the third quarter. Terrence Mann had 20 of his 39 in the third. Reggie Jackson stepped up huge. Oh, give Pat Beverly some credit with his defense on Donovan Mitchell. Also give credit with Pat Bev. He had 2 huge threes in that fourth quarter. But I also got to say this with Utah. The Clippers turned Utah's biggest strength into their biggest weakness, and that's Rudy Gobert. What did they do? They went with a small lineup, and they spread the floor with shooters. Gobert looked so lost on defense, and Quinn Snyder kept playing him the entire game. That was a very big mistake on Quinn Snyder's part. Never tried to go small. He didn't bring in Clarkson and had what should have went with a small ball lineup. You should have had Joe Ingles. Take out Gobert and take out Mike Conley. Mike Conley didn't look right, and yet he was out there playing. He hit 1 shot, scored 5 points. Mike Conley didn't look right, so I don't know why he was playing. Also, the Clippers went to a zone defense that started to bother Donovan Mitchell, and they started to trap him a lot more. And then what did Donovan do? Donovan thought he was Kobe, kept trying to shoot and force his way to 2 or 3 different defenders, and his shots got tough. He started forcing shots that weren't there. Then he tried his little crossover dribble pull-up threes, and then he started to miss them. He was not knocking them down. Donovan still shot efficient, but again, the key has been the second halves. And I said when I watch Donovan Mitchell, I see 2 different players in 2 different halves in the playoffs. The first half, Donovan Mitchell looks like he's one of the best young players in the game. He looks like he has tremendous basketball IQ. He looks like he reads the defense really well. And he looks like he wants to do a little bit of everything. But then that's also his egotistical problem. When teams start to come back, Donovan begins to press. He tries to beat everything through force instead of trying to read what the defense is doing. It's an old saying, you take what the defense gives you. He was not reading the defense well in the second half. Started to turn the ball over and just forced ill-advised shots. And then Utah stopped hitting their threes in the second half. And that was the same issue they had in Game 5. Remember, in Game 5, they hit 10 threes in the first quarter, but the Clippers were only down by 1 point. They hit 17 in the first half, and the Clippers were only down by 5. The Utah Jazz were up by 22 at the half and 25 at the start of the third quarter, and they lose by 12. So you're up by double digits and you lose by double digits. Also give Nick Batum credit. Put in 18 huge points as well. But it just lets you know right here, man, that I kept telling people that the Jazz are front runners. Dudes don't want to listen. The Utah Jazz are front runners. Mitchell has got to improve his IQ and shot selection. His shot selection is very porous, especially in the second halves. And when the games get tight, Donovan tends to make bad decisions with his shot selection. His decision making on his shot selection is what really starts to hurt the Jazz. Like I said before, Jordan Clarkson had 21 points, but they all came in the second quarter. He didn't score a single point in the second half. And my issue is, why also wasn't Quinn Snyder playing Clarkson more in the second half? Why didn't he go small? Utah hit 21 threes. You don't think it would have been beneficial to spread the floor? You could have exposed the Clippers' interior a lot more defensively because of the spacing that you guys have with the shooting. And remember how they were getting their shots. They were attacking the paint, but they started to settle for threes and they attacked less. And sometimes when they would attack, they would not get the call. And this is despite the fact that Royce O'Neal scored 21 points too. But this is one of the biggest choke jobs ever. You blew a 25-point lead and you lose by double digits to end the game. I told you about the Utah Jazz. I told you that those guys are choke artists and that they are front runners. I told y'all about this. I told y'all. Those ain't want to listen to me. I picked the Clippers to win the series because they're a better team. And the Utah Jazz, they show lack of IQ once they start to blow leads. Donovan Mitchell tried to do everything on his own in the second half, and it cost him. Another issue that happened was the Clippers only had 6 turnovers in the in the entire game. They only had 6 turnovers. The Utah Jazz had 16.
Go ahead. ahead, it's EG.
And they beat the Jazz in where they got out-rebounded by 10. They got out-rebounded on the offensive glass by 6. The only issue was the 21 threes that the Utah Jazz hit. Guess what? The Clippers hit 20 of them themselves. And they said we weren't going to let Paul George beat us. Listen, if you would have told me Terrence Mann was going to score 39 points in a closeout game against the Utah Jazz, I would have said, you smoking. I said, maybe he gets you 12, 13, 14, 15, maybe 20 points on a good day. I wasn't expecting 39 points. I was not expecting that efficiency neither. But it's like I said before, once the Clippers went small, they confused the hell out of Gobert on defense. And this is why I said that he's an overrated defender in my opinion, because if you can get him on the perimeter, if you put him in a mismatch, look, there were moments where Gobert had so much space between him and the shooter that he wasn't even going to go and close out to the shooter. So that just lets you know right there, folks. This is a big choke job by the Jazz. It's a big choke job. The number 1 seed. Remember, the Jazz were up 2-0 in this series, and they lost the last 4 games. They lost by double digits in 3 of the 4 games, 3 of the last 4 games. So the sense of urgency, it was there in the first half. It was not there in the second half. Kudos to Paul George, but I really think the play of Terrence Mann really settled Paul down, because I feel like he was pressing and the Clippers, they were not showing trust. They showed more trust in the second half, and I told y'all that the Clippers are showing more trust in each other than I saw at all last year. You got to call them the resilient Clippers, because this is what they are. They show resiliency. You know, they're showing resiliency. They're fighting through adversity, and you see it in their team. They're not giving up. They continue to stay together, stay the course. And ladies and gentlemen, they won the game. What would you do if you're in the Utah Jazz front office? Like, what do you think the Jazz need to do? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, man. As always, Clippers win. Big game by Paul George. Definitely the game ball goes to Terrence Mann. He was unbelievable. Reggie Jackson, Nick Batum played great. And then Pat Bev with some big defensive plays, played very good defense. Donovan Mitchell keeps trying to force it too much. Like I said, I see 2 different versions of Donovan in terms of his IQ. He showed better IQ in the first half, and then he gets away from it in the second half, and then just tries to go all ISO and then tries to force the offense. He didn't let the game come to him like it did in the first half. Give the Clippers credit on their zone. It gave them some problems, but which is why I'm telling you that Donovan's next step has to be his shot selection and his IQ on offense when it comes to passing. And the Jazz really didn't force turnovers, so that hurt too. The Clippers got more possessions that way, even though they were getting out-rebounded. Sometimes there's certain statistics that can offset another one. So even though the Clippers got out-rebounded, they didn't turn the ball over. So it pretty much nullified that. And even though the Jazz hit 21 threes, the Clippers hit 20 of their own. The Clippers finished the game shooting 56.5% from the field. They shot 52% from 3. And at the free throw line, they shot 90%. The Utah Jazz finished shooting 49.6%. They shot 47% from 3, which is still pretty good. But the problem is their second half, they really struggled. What was the score at the end of the third quarter? At the end of the third quarter, it was it was 94-91. The Utah Jazz only had 22 points in the third quarter. 22 in the third. They scored 25 in the fourth, but this is huge. The Utah Jazz, man, they going outside, man. They gone fishing. Like I said, Jordan Clarkson, nothing. I don't know why he didn't go. I don't know why Quinn Snyder didn't go small. That's bad coaching on his part. See, another coach that fails to make adjustments. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is your boy Lewis Nunn with another one. Let me know what you guys think on this win by the Clippers. Or is it more about what the Clippers did, or is it the Jazz choking this entire series, especially in that game 6 up 25. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Bless up, live, laugh, love. Thank you guys for watching.
Taken by Iguodala. They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!